Ay, ay, ay. I made it. Ay, ay. So, sorry for the different setup, but part of me could have just gone downstairs at this point, but all my medicine and all my crap is up here, so I don't feel like moving. So, hi. Now just to wait for people to pop on. My laptop is on this side because I don't think there's enough room for it to be here and then for you guys to see at the same time. So, anyway. Let's see who pops in. Fun, fun, fun. How we doing? So I realize this is actually the 9th live session, not the 8th. I guess I can't count. Can't believe I've done 9 of these already. It's crazy. Listen, it is what it is, so it goes through its motions and things like that. So at least I don't have the coronavirus. So I'm making sure I don't have that. So the last time I got the flu was, I've been in this house 2 years, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. I got the flu so bad. I literally had the flu for 2 weeks. And then it took me 2 weeks to recover from the flu. So I was down for an entire month. I had my friend Sandy come over and help me take care of the kids because I could barely get out of bed. They had to give me steroids and all kinds of stuff because I couldn't eat. My whole body went into shutdown mode. It was terrible. So, yeah. So, fiber's a daily thing, So, I it's hard because when you tell people, everyone's like, oh, I'm sorry that you hurt. I wish you didn't hurt and things like that. And I appreciate that. For me personally, I'm just at that point where I know me, I know my body. I'm just kind of used to it. So, oh, you live near Ground Zero. Uh-oh. Well, I heard that the worst part in the States is up by New York, by New Rochelle, unless something has changed since then. So, I thought that's where the worst of it is right now, is in New York, and especially in New Rochelle. They basically closed down all of New Rochelle, and they have New York activated the National Guard. So they're doing testing and stuff like that. So New York is like a crazy place. So because my sister lives in Staten Island, and I have other friends that live in and out of Staten Island and stuff in New York and stuff, and they're just going crazy. People are screaming when are they going to shut down the schools and when are they going to do this. Hi, Kia. It's crazy, and I understand that I'm not saying don't be worried about it. That's the biggest thing is when people post things and stuff like that, they're like, oh, it's not a big deal. And I'm one of those people too. I was following the cases. It's all right, the death rate is 3%, and an overall, and it's oh, well, if you look at the numbers, if you look at it the right way, it's not as bad. The biggest problem is the contagion, is the fact that it spreads so easily, and they don't know anything about it, so they keep changing information, which is making things worse for everybody, because it was originally, you were contagious for 10 days, then they wound up, you can be contagious up to 3 weeks, the virus lives on things for at least 9 days, and then, it's just gotten nuts, and, there's not enough information, so everybody's panicking, and people are making up shit, the CDC, I live in Pennsylvania, the CDC only has 2 cases confirmed in Pennsylvania, but like I know people in the neighborhood who are blowing up Facebook, and it's like, oh, the school's going to shut down. I'm like, why is the school going to shut down? Nobody's sick here. You know, we had kids with freaking scabies and shit. They were fucking quarantined, and the school was like, oh, when are you coming back to school? It's like, do you want to send the kids back to school with scabies? In case you didn't know, those are really fucking infectious. You know, but, and then I live in a very poor town, so if the school shuts down, you have kids who don't eat, and I know some of those kids. My son's friends will come here, and when they come here, I have an open cabinet, and they will eat me out of house and home because they don't eat, you know. Or one of his friends doesn't eat, like, so he's in a horrible mindset that I have to tell him to eat when he's here. I'm like, you need to eat. You were here for how many hours? You haven't eaten a damn thing. You need to eat, and I have to like force the kid to eat. So, I mean, I understand that, like, it's not supposed to be the issue, but the same people that are crying that we should stop it are the same people that are, like, want to kumbaya and, like, save the poor and all of this other stuff. Well, if you shut down the schools, those are the people you're hurting the most. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you shut down the schools and mothers and fathers can't go to work, I know it's not a babysitting service, but kind of it is. You know, you get to that age where you send your kids to school and then you go back and have a job and a life or whatever it is that you have. I just realized I'm like not talking into the microphone per se. You know, there's so many other factors that you need to consider. I understand about the contagion and things like that. School's until April 24th, but the school's kitchen are going to be open in different locations. Well, see, and that I'm fine with that. You know, pre-pack the food. You know, send it out. You know, I understand like keeping the mass amounts of people away from each other, and I get that. Like, I tell people all the time, you know, I worked retail for 15 years. I was a retail manager. I made freaking $60,000, you know, running retail. But I'll tell you right now, it's the most evil business in the world. I don't care. And I've known many people. I was an electrician for 5 years. Retail is the worst because they don't give a shit. Because people will come out and shop. You know, I've seen blizzards. I've seen state of emergencies and things like that. And we have to fight with the company to fucking close the doors. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, if you tell no one, no school, so people can't go to work, they're going to start going stir crazy. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to the mall. So if you don't preempt the fact that they're going to go out shopping, because they do no matter what you say, if the malls are open and things like that, and they're not as proficient in cleaning and stuff like that as maybe a school would or whatever, then you're just creating a new issue. You know what I'm saying? And again, economic wise, like everyone's now shouting that it's like, oh, we're, you know, the bailouts and, you know, we're going to do all this shit all over again. And like the stocks are tanking. It's because everybody's panicking. You have China where most of your imports come from. You know, the whole country is not functioning. You know what I'm saying? So it's slowing everything down. Like Coca-Cola can't get stuff from there. You know, there's a lot of things that have to be rethought after this, you know, to a degree about maybe bringing things back personally to the country, but that's a whole nother issue. But, you know, the economy is going to tank harder than it already is if this keeps going. I mean, the cruise lines are down 70-something% in revenue. So those people are going to lose jobs, and it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. And the people that want to be protected the most, where we're talking about young kids and poor families and the those that are on the median and stuff like that, it's gonna get ugly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, all right, if you're a single mom, they shut down the schools. Who's gonna babysit your kids? Regardless, you know, who are you gonna find to come and sit with your kids while you go to work? You know, okay, so they say, okay, they're your kids, you know, they can't go to school, then you have to watch them. Okay, fine. But then who's compensating me when my rent is due, or my mortgage is due, or my payments are due? You know, there's a lot to be considered, and who's going to hoof that bill? You know, nobody's going to want to hoof that bill. You know, mortgage companies aren't going to be like, well, we'll let you slide because of the coronavirus. Then it's just not going to happen. You know, they might turn around and be like, all right, we're not going to penalize people, but you're still going to have to pay that money. And then you're worried about this coronavirus and sickness and your children and the elderly and all this stuff, and you have a pot to piss in, you can't buy food because you can't go to work. It becomes a disaster on so many levels. Again, I understand the large crowd thing, I really do. You know, but the best case, you know, is washing your hands, cleaning the things that people touch. You know, I went around with sanitizer stuff and cleaned all the doorknobs and all the light switches and, you know, things that people just constantly touch. Even most people, it's like, oh, you wash your hands. It's like, okay, then you touch the sink. Did you touch the sink to turn it on? You got to clean the sink now. You know, there just needs to be more diligence. And it's frustrating because the flu epidemic, you know, because it's been an epidemic, and all you have to do is go to the WHO and the CDC to see that the flu, the normal influenza virus, has been an epidemic for years because it kills so many people. But were all like, fuck it, it's a flu. Well, it's not as bad as the coronavirus. The coronavirus hasn't even touched how many people die of the flu each year. Each year. Okay? Yes, it's 0.05% each year. Each year. Not just this year and then it goes away. You know, when SARS came out and MERS came out and there was a big outbreak and Ebola and these people started dying and everybody started flipping out and then it went away. And then it wasn't sensational anymore. The flu virus shows up every year and people die all the time. You know, like, and I hate to, like, be mean, and if I upset anybody, well, you know me, fuck off. But the joke used to be, I worked in Kohler Goldwater. It was a hospital on Roosevelt Island in New York. And the thing was, when the heat came in, be prepared for the bodies to line the halls. Because the morgue becomes overrun with older people who can't take the heat. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother actually almost died. I mean, she's dead now, but she almost died from the heat one year because she was stupid and just, like, barely turned on her air conditioner, you know? So, like, but nobody talks about those things. It happens every year. People die all the time of lack of air conditioning, of their age and the heat and all those other things. It's just crazy. Sorry, I'm not reading what people are saying. In Wuhan, they finally have slowed down due to everyone staying home. Yeah, but that country's psycho. If you've seen the videos that are coming out of that country, you know what I'm saying? The people aren't staying home. They're barricading people in their homes. You know what I'm saying? They're literally soldering doors closed. You know, there's some ugly shit going on, you know? And it's not, you won't see it in the news. You have to dig for it. Like I watch YouTube. So shit pops up all the time. So, you know, there are people, Americans that are trapped over there that are sending videos and trying to get the word out because the Chinese government is trying to suppress anything leaving that country. So, common sense, hoarding puts me at risk. The percentage is not the problem. The problem is the high commutability to have to prevent as many. Yeah, I understand. It's a matter of how fast it transfers. Like, so the flu virus, I think you get a 50-50 shot of touching it. With the coronavirus, if you come in contact, I think you have a 90% chance of getting it. So I understand that. The contagion is the issue, you know. But, again, the survival rate is higher than 3%. Even though 3% of people are dying from it. You know what I'm saying? They're not pushing the fact that there are people that are getting well. They're just pushing that sensational idea that people are dying, you know, that everyone in Italy is dying. And it's like, okay, listen, again, the population of Italy is not a very young population. It's a very older population. You know, it doesn't, I'm not trying to say that their lives aren't worth it or anything like that. I'm not saying that, you know, but it's amazing how, you know, people use numbers just to blow it up one way or another. They just take certain figures and certain other figures. And then you've got inconsiderate people. You know, those are the people that left the countries or ran out of the countries and things like that. You know, paid to get out of the countries, and then they took it home and they gave it to other people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the Wuhan thing, if they had been on top of it, it was Chinese fucking New Year. They knew people were sick, and people knew, and they asked if it was safe to travel, and they told them yes. So the Chinese government are a bunch of cocks, and they let their own people infect themselves and spread it, because instead of saying, all right, oh, what, they put Chinese New Year 3 days off? If you know anything about Chinese people, they're very traditional. You can't put those things off to them. It's not happening. Really traditional, you know, Chinese, Asian people, their traditions are very, very important to them. You know what I'm saying? So you can't tell them, oh, well, we're going to put Chinese New Year 3 days off. You're not. You needed to shut the whole fucking thing down, which still would have been a problem because people would have still snuck around. But if they would have contained it quicker, rather than being a bunch of, you know, sneaky fucks and not wanting to accept help and not wanting to admit what it was, you know, that doctor that wound up getting the virus and then dying because, you know, he was trying to get the word out. It's, you know. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Iris. Italy is the one to watch, and the death rate is high. They had to make the decision to not treat the elderly. Well, again, you know, and it's sad that that's what it is, you know, because again, it overflowed itself, and you know, you're talking about People think of Italy and they think of the main cities. They forget that the majority of, like, Italy, like, true Italy, are villages of older communities, and they do a day-to-day, so they're constantly in contact with each other. So it ran its course so quickly, and it's very sad that they have to do that. Yeah, the NBA starts as stupid. I heard about the guy that made the joke, and then he tested positive, and he touched everybody's shit. And the people like that are the ones that need to be taken out and shot. You know what I'm saying? I'll make a joke here and there. I bust my mother-in-law's balls. Like, I tell her, like, she's in the death rate. Like, okay, fine. But, those people that have compromised immune systems, like, I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, the coronavirus. My dad had the coronavirus, not the one that's here now, not the 19. But my dad had the coronavirus when he was getting his cancer treatments, and they had to treat him for the virus before they can give him more treatments. And it was a big deal at that point, too. It wasn't like, but you didn't hear about it. And then people were like, oh, we're looking at the Lysol cans. It's like, oh, if coronavirus is new, why is it on the Lysol can? It's not new. It's a strain. Just like fucking bird flu and pig swine flu and H1N1 and all of these other viruses that are technically coronaviruses that have mutated into the next form.
Sorry. Brenda keeps telling me to read your text messages.
Tell him I'm online.
That's what I did.
Ugh. I can't. I'm using the phone. So, tell him to wait.
Okay.
Is he on fire?
Apparently, he wants you to read them badly. I don't know where they are. Wait, just here. Don't the iPads connect?
My husband's apparently, he's, whatchamacallit, he's down in Scranton doing the training for the post office. So, he's like a big baby. He leaves the house and he cannot talk to me all day in the home, but the minute, like, he's not in the home, he blows up my phone and it's like, I miss you, I love you, and all. Okay, I love you too. Yeah, it's like a puppy. Or my puppy in the back, whichever.
This one's connected to me.
So, I shut most of them off, so. Hold on. I'm just afraid that if I do it, it's going to lose the live feed, so. Where's the blue one? Or he took the blue one. No, those are all reset. Just ask him what he wants. That he's messing up my live feed, please. Okay, never mind. All right. People. So unless anybody has anything specific they want me to say about the coronavirus, I think I'm going to end it here. Because on the bottom line, it's constantly changing. Not even day to day, but almost hour to hour. Everything is changing. Information is changing. People are panicking, making it worse. Things like that. Stock up on toilet paper. But other than that, you have to worry about your own selves. So do what you feel is right for you. If you feel that keeping your children home is safe, if you feel that keeping your children away from your elderly, relatives and things like that, which I think you should do, by the way, even during the flu season, which people forget to mention. People with compromised immune systems, you should keep your children, which are petri dishes, away from, those people. I know. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to say because we're not going to really know anything until it's almost over. That's really just going to be the bottom line. What? Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Before you do that again, when I go back, I'm putting my case on because it's on my nightstand. I pulled it out of my bag finally.
There. He wants to be able to watch me. That's what it is.
I know.
Okay. All right, so people outside of the country can come home, will be tested and asked to be self-quarantined. Well, it was like the Ebola virus, though. Like, remember that one woman who they told her, that she had to be contained because she had the Ebola virus and whatever, and she was supposed to be in her house for 25 days, and, like, after 10 days, she was out and about, and everyone was freaking out. There's no way to stop those kinds of people, so... either don't let them back in the country. Don't expect them to do the right thing because you can't just expect people to do the right thing. Where most of us, I do know that the majority of the people in the world are actually decent people, but it only takes that one or two stupid people to fuck it for everybody. So, hi Jackie, hi Chris. You said that people can come home. People outside the country can come home, but will be tested and asked to self-quarantine. Yeah, but again, you're assuming that they're going to stay in their homes. Like I said, like that lady with the Ebola virus, she didn't fucking stay in her house. You know, she was supposed to be quarantined for 25 days. She was out and about and whatever. And she was like, well, I'm not staying home. You know? I know, Jackie finally made it to alive. Woohoo! So, but anyway, was there anything else? Like I said, you know, at this point, you know, everyone just has to worry about themselves. You know, people like Teddy, where your immune system is compromised, I would definitely have your stuff brought to you. I would not leave the house. I don't trust people. I would just be safer than sorry. Send other people out to go shopping or do online shopping, see if Amazon will deliver, see if your local grocery store will deliver, or do a pickup where you don't have to go in the store and they literally just put shit in your car and you drive away. So, oh, you're responding to her comment. Okay. Yeah, but notice that the NCAA didn't stop. What's up with that? You know, and again, like the colleges closing makes sense because everything is online. You know, even when you go to ground college, and I went to ground college when I was 25, and then I went back to school, you know, to get my my BA in Christian Studies, and I did it all online. So they have access to Blackboard or a version of Blackboard, so the teachers and the students of college do not have to step foot on campus ever if they didn't really want to. So that's fine. But what are you going to do with the kids at home? Are you going to take away their summer vacation? Are you going to take away their... Because no matter what you do on the back end, it's going to blow up. You know, the NCAA did cancel? Okay. Last I heard, they had not. You know, I'm actually waiting to hear what's going on with WrestleMania in Tampa. As of right now, they are not canceling it. So, because it's still 3 weeks out, so they want to wait. So, okay, yeah. I won't leave again. Doctor, maybe wear a mask and gloves. I would definitely wear the gloves and the mask. I wouldn't say not to, but like again, those crazy people that are wearing masks, the masks are for people that are sick. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the hospital, they don't ask the not sick people to put on the mask. They ask the sick people to please put on the mask because it keeps it in. Unless you're wearing a mask that has a filter that will filter out, you know, like a really good mask that will filter out that stuff. You're not, you know, I mean, listen, it's not going to kill you to wear it, but the people who are sick are the people who really need to wear it. So when they cough and they touch and you know, so yes.
He says approve his request.
Okay. Is he trying to?
I have no idea. It's Brendan in technology. Doesn't work well.
Any of the admins, go on and see if my husband Brendan Stewart is trying to join the group, please. He's being a pain in my butt. So if he is, please let him in. So, and then I will personally kick him out. Because I can't bitch about him if he's in the group. That's why he's never been in the group.
Cool,
so, you have a level 3 mask from the hospital. Okay, that makes sense, you know, but like everybody who's like those normal masks and stuff like that, it's not gonna... Never mind, I approved him. So, it didn't come up before. Okay, so, alright, coronavirus, we're all gonna die, fuck it. Anyway. Okay. Is Paula on? Because Paula asked me for something specific, and I actually went out of my way to find it. So, hi, babe. So if Paula's not on, I'll wait. If not, I'll just go over it in the very, very end, because she did ask me to. One of the other things that we were talking about was the group doing projects, and Teddy, correct me if I'm not doing the right thing, but you know, like Amy's our mod, and she went out of her way to do like, you know, loom-alongs or giving you know, projects to do for the month and stuff like that, because everyone says you know, they want those things. And then, you know, Amy went through a lot of trouble to do what she did and to get projects, and even she, you know, she felt a little defeated in February, and she was like, all right, well, in March I'm just gonna find some stuff and throw it up. And she does the work, she finds the patterns, she puts them up, and, you know, and then it just seems like nobody wants to be a participant. So I'm trying to figure out what's the deal with that. And it's not just this group, I find it in all groups, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm the admin of All About Looming with Sue and Deb, and I feel like it's the same thing. People ask to, like, do projects, ask for, like, the group to give to them, and, you know, to do loom-alongs, and then nobody participates. But then when you say, we're not going to do it anymore, then 100,000 people will comment, well, like, well, I'll do it, and I'll do it. It's like, well, why weren't you doing it to begin with? It's been up 3 times now, and nobody's been doing the fucking projects. I'm not going to lie. I mean, unless it comes down to it, like when Teddy asked to do that hour-long thing to understand something, I was like, all right, I'll do it. I won't say that I'm going to do the Loom-alongs because I know I won't. So, and I always tell people don't do it because I see that it doesn't work. So, that's right, she made the hat pattern. You know what I'm saying? And then somehow it got pilfered by someone, we're not going to say who, which was a bitch on top of the fact. But, she went through the project, she went through it, she even filmed herself in it, which is a big deal for her. It was like, all right, she was kind of uncomfortable, but she wanted to give as much information as she could, and it just fell on deaf ears. And I know our group is small because we created a very niche group of people that can, say whatever the hell we want, so we're very offensive to the majority of other people. But I see it in other groups too, and it's I don't get it, So if somebody can explain to me or, figure out what it is, but especially in this group, I don't, we'll put up information because we are here to help. Bottom line is we still are a looming group and we will help. There's lots of information in the files and things like that, and we'll answer questions and things like that. But other than that, trying to do like a monthly thing and a monthly loom along where there's instruction given and everybody's doing the same project, I think it's just not going to happen because nobody's doing it. And I'm not even going to ask. I'm not even going to make Amy put up anything or Teddy. Nobody's going to put up anything. It's just going to stop. And when anybody says anything, I'm just going to delete their post. Like I'm, how I can be. I know how you ladies can be. Yes, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work for somebody to take the time and do those things, and get into it. So it's not fair for them to do all that work and then to be sadly disappointed. And then when they say, all right, well, I'm not doing it anymore, then everybody wants to be up in arms. It's amazing how people want to be fightful. You know what I'm saying? Like, all about the loom before I was the admin, it was like, all right, are we going to close the group off? And the whole world went bananas. And it's like, you guys, are you kidding me? You can't post every day. You can't do this. But you managed to see this post and managed to comment and yell at the admin 16 times. But you can't be on every day and post, and you don't see posts. You're full of shit. So, I don't see the sense in doing... No, and absolutely. I wouldn't do, you know me, I'm like, that's why we didn't do it for so long. That's why we're like, all right, we know we don't want to do it. We know we don't want to deal with it, and then when Amy became the mod and we're like, all right, do you want to try and take that baby over and see if you can get people into it, and I commend her for her effort. I just feel bad that these people don't do shit, and I know it's our group, It's our group. Actually, it's not just our group. All of the bigger looming groups do the same thing. It's like, oh, we're going to do this loom along. And then you never see anybody really doing it. So, but again, that's an admittal. I just admitted that I won't do it either. I have things going on. I like to do my own projects. I usually don't like what the loom along is. I don't like that time crunch. It gives me like a weird anxiety. So I really don't want to be part of it, Yeah, that we could do. Like I said, I'm for that. I can get a loom and we can put that aside and say, okay, we're gonna, do a daily thing every day, do this part, you know what I'm saying? If you want to like give a project line by line, for 30 days or something like that, that might work. Who knows? I'm not saying I wouldn't try it. In this one, I will give the effort because it's not a, don't pick something really big, kick your ass. But, I'm definitely for that. I need to find the topics for today because when I had to approve somebody, I had to take off it. So, Oh, okay. So, is there anything else about that? Because otherwise I'm going to move on. So basically, I think that loom-alongs are a waste because bottom line is no matter what people say, they're just not going to do them. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has that I want to do, and the bottom line is you don't, and you don't have time or whatever the fuck it is. So, well, if people don't respond, then fuck it. Then you don't do it. Like, that's the biggest deal at this point. You know, we can be, like I said, we can be there for questions and answers, and for our group specifically, you know, we're here for camaraderie, you know, but like all about the illuminating group and stuff like that, it's just very frustrating. You got a lot of people in that group, and you know, they want, but when the bottom line comes, they're not doing anything. So, all right. I don't think Kathy popped in, but this is pretty funny. Kathy said, how about Facebook can put rules on us but can't follow their own rules? So I asked her to clarify what she meant, and basically, so how Facebook can basically censor you or give you Facebook jail for something that you put up and whatever, but then when you complain about somebody else, and I know what she's talking about, and I've done it too, I was in a sci-fi group, and this kid was a masochistic, male chauvinist douchebag, and I was tired of listening to his mouth, and he would rant, and he would verbally abuse everybody, and it's like, you try to report it to Facebook, and Facebook goes, well, we'll kind of look into it, you know, and then even if they do, they're like, well, you could just block the person. I put up a stupid meme, and I'm fucking in Facebook jail for 30 days, but, you know, someone basically calls me a whore and a cunt, and I just block them? No! Do something about it. Yes, we are. So, we're open to all things, you know, bitching and whatever. But yeah, Facebook doesn't make any sense anymore. You know, it's, again, it goes back to everything else. You know, the world is just so paranoid about everything, and we're so worried about offending everybody, and it just becomes ridiculous after a while. You don't have to, like, again, all right, fine, if that's the case, if you can tell me, hey, well, if that person, just block them, then tell people just to fucking scroll or unfriend me. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Facebook has like a main page where just publicly things pop up. It's not like a Reddit, you know, or something like that where things just pop up. So you have to see me, even if my shit is public. You still have to go to my page to see my shit. So why does Facebook get to dictate what I can and cannot post and censor me when only my group of people can see me? You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to share misinformation, that I understand to a degree, all right, whatever. But, you know, I don't think there's anybody sitting there checking all of these things all the time. It's like YouTube. There are fucking bots that see certain things and flag them, and then fuck you if, you know, you get flagged. So, at least 40 people. Yeah, well, her whole group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, we have a private group where we bitch too. Like, you know, but whatever. But she has a group, and she's saying all this other stuff, and, you know, if she can report us too. I don't really give a crap. But, and I reported it too, even when I was in the group. So that can get back to her too. I don't give a shit. You know, she said some nasty things in the group, and I actually reported her post while I was in the group, and Facebook did nothing. Facebook literally said, well, too bad. So, yeah, and we had that problem in the very beginning where people were reporting the stuff that we were posting, but that was for a different reason. You know what I'm saying? We were making jokes, we were sending dirty memes and stuff like that, and people are like, "Oh my, this is a Lumen group. This shouldn't be in here." And it's like, it's in the rules. It's in the rules. We are not a normal group. We are very not safe for work. Your grandchildren shouldn't be on your freaking, you know, on our group seeing our stuff. You know, like, don't do it. This is not the group for you. You know, if you got to stick up your ass, this is not the place for you. That's it. Period. Boom. You know. I know. I just, you know what? Like I said, this whole looming nonsense that's been going on for the last, I'll say, year, because I know it's further than I thought it started, and whatever the case may be. Literally, Teddy and Jackie all know, and there's a couple of other us that know that this is literally a repeat of something else. You know, it's just secular. You know, I mean, in the end, the people that are doing what they're doing, they're actually isolating themselves. They're not smart enough to stop the way they are. You know what I'm saying? They basically are banned from most groups. They're basically outed everywhere else. Most of the other bigger groups, the admins, are hated by that person. So it's not playing well to that person. So, you know, they can have their own little cult, and they can have their own little groups and their little minions, and they can come and filter in through the groups, and you know who you are, and they don't give a crap. You know, run back and say whatever you want. You know, it's just childish. You know, it's just childish. Like, the point of this, again, is supposed to be a community. And you obviously don't want to be part of the community. All you want to do is be the top one, the top dog, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it's not because we all wish that you would fail or anything like that. Those failures are your own, because you can't just be your own person and do your own thing. So, you know, I know that Debbie is very hurt and things like that, but, you know, we could just do what we got to do, you know, and the bottom line is, like, we are a knitting, looming group, you know, knitting and looming. We are trying to get them to understand that it is the same idea. We are knitting. We are just using a different tool. So when people come out and they try to make it, well, you know, you don't know anything because you're not a loomer. You're not helping yourself either. You know what I'm saying? You can't take knit stitches, steal them from a book, and then put them on the loom and give them a new name. You can't do that. You can take the stitch and create a project with it, and that's fine, but you need to give credit where credit is due. You know? That's just the bottom line. So, I'm not cool with that. So, well, again, you know, the new people is fine, and we haven't had too many issues, so it's fine. So I don't mind. We always usually close the doors when we wind up having those people that come in and want to, you know, tell us how to run our group. It's like, this is our group. You don't like what we do. You don't like what we stand for. Move on. Go to another fucking group. But I don't get it. Like, and the thing is, like, I think with me, and I think the why that people come to me, and, you know, the reason I run this live, you know, is I've already said I'm not a designer. You know, I thought about it at the very beginning. It was very strange in the beginning. Again, there was issues of people stealing stuff and not knowing who to trust to help you. And then we went through this. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to do what I do, and I will help people along the way. As I learn, I will teach, and I will give back. You know, but you can't do that under the pretense that, you know, that you're doing and creating all this stuff when you're not. And there's no reason for you just to say, okay, I used this stitch to create this, and now I'm giving you this because I wrote down the instructions. You did some of the work. So take the credit for what you did, not the credit that it belongs to someone else. You know what I'm saying? You know, and a lot of stitches don't have actual credits because they've been around so long, but you can just say, these were knit stitches, this was the name of the stitch that I used, and I converted it into, so you can do it on the loom with a different tool, and go from there. But it is, you know what, this is the three of us are the funniest thing in the world, because until I met you ladies, everyone was like, I was the hard ass, I was the bitch, I was the mean one. And I have to somehow be the voice of reason. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but between the two of you ladies, I've become the voice of reason. I've become the more nicer person. So for all those people who don't get thrown out of the group because you're pissing off fucking Teddy and Jackie, remember my name. But, you know, I just, you know, again, like, and I said this like 100 times, and I'll probably keep saying it because until it stops, it'll be a topic of conversation. You know, take credit for what you do and give credit to others. You know what I'm saying? We can't, and nobody can get anywhere in life without crediting someone else. You know what I'm saying? You don't come into this world as a human being without crediting the mother and father gene-wise that you came from. You came from somewhere. Someone taught you how to walk. Someone taught you how to run. Someone taught you how to speak and to ride a bike and to write your letters. Somebody taught you those things. You know what I'm saying? You know, unless you're a bloody fucking genius and shit comes out of nowhere, you know, somebody brought you to the table and then you gave something back to the table. That's it. You know, you can't have, all right, I'm going to invite everybody over and it's my house, and because it's my house, I don't have to give anything. because I gave my house. It's like, well, that's kind of shitty. Somebody else will do it, and they can give 2 and the house. You know, it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it is scary. It's very frightening. Yes, you are. So, hi, Amy. You know, and you know, that's the kind of group that we've created. We literally have no tolerance for people. And it frustrates me because I know in other groups that people basically challenge the admins, yell at the admins, say whatever the fuck they want to the admins, and the admins are terrified to get rid of people because of the backlash. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, you know what, just screw that person. I'll just ignore them and maybe they'll go away or whatever, you know, and sometimes they don't. Like, it's like you're creating a situation where you're allowing this person to always challenge you, and then other people see that you can be challenged and you could be bullied. You know, it's just like, nope, get the fuck out. So, you know, I don't know. You know, but we kind of tried a topic about the whole Facebook thing. It is very frustrating that the way Facebook, you know, can tell us what to do, but then when we try to report stuff and we try to push that idea, you know, they do nothing. Like, literally nothing. You know, I would understand, like, if they did something and then it's like, oh, you know, people go after somebody and then, you know, because you can weaponize it. You know, like, again, I you know, I watch a lot of YouTube and people weaponize the claims area because that doesn't have to deal with YouTube. If somebody copyright strikes your thing, YouTube goes, we don't have anything to do with that. You have to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a hands-off thing. You know, so people weaponize it and use it to hurt people and to hurt small channels and things like that. But what happened? Oh, everything happens, Amy, every week. We talked about the coronavirus, and then we were talking about Facebook's stupid rules, and then we were talking about our favorite looming group with its leader and its culty people and not giving credit where credit is due. So, let's see. What else was I going to do? I did say I was going to do one of Debbie's stitches. I'm not going to do that tonight. I will do it next week. I did bring up the loom and I did get some yarn. I was going to make a hat, so I was going to start the basic brim and then work into her stitches. But I was just on a different planet for a while, so I couldn't, like, look at anything and stuff. So, but I definitely, like, want to do it live so we can see if her stitches, you know, I find them very easy. So, I'll play it on the computer and I'll do it in front of everybody and we'll see if, you know, how that works. You know, just to get an idea. So, she makes a lot of her stuff very easy, and I know she goes out of her way not to do pearls, which is very funny because I know she was accused of being like, well, that's not knitting because you're not using pearls. It's like, no, she's using knit stitches and stuff like that. She's just not doing the pearls because a lot of people drop pearl stitches on the loom because you have to pull it off. You know what I'm saying? When you're needle knitting, and again, I only know basics, but you literally, it's in one way for a knit and in the other way for a purl and how you do it. So there is no slippage. I mean, there is, but it's not as easy where when you're doing the loom, if you move that and you let go, you could drop the stitch, and it's very difficult, especially in the beginning, for people to understand it. So, yes. Oh, yay, Paula! I waited for you. I did not do what you asked me to do yet, so I waited for you to come on. So, let's see. Okay. So, other than that, there's really nothing else that anybody asked me specifically for, so I'm just gonna talk about whatever the hell I want now. So here's a personal pet peeve. And I know it bothers other people and things like that. When people ask for help, I have no problem. Okay, I will help. Paula is a perfect example. You know that I will go to extreme lengths to help you. I will. You know, what I don't appreciate is when it's not appreciated, and when you literally want me to hold your goddamn hand and do everything for you. You know, and I see this in a lot of other groups. You know what I'm saying? I understand that maybe you're confused. I understand that maybe you're having a hard time, and I've said this before, maybe you need to not do that, and you need to find something that has those elements in a small thing and build up to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? You can't just jump into it and do a very big project or do, a very complicated project when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And then when people help, you literally want them to do every step for you. No, like that's not happening. And I get very frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I will say, listen, I will give as much information as I can. Sometimes I'm not able to get to YouTube right away or whatever. And I will say to the person, LumaHat has this. This is the name of this group and blah, 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 blah. And then somebody will sit there and wait. Well, can I have the link, please? Can I have the link, please? Go to fucking YouTube. I told you who it is. I told you the name of the fucking video. Just go. Why do I have to give you a direct link? And then I give you the link and then you're like, well, I don't want to do that. Well, fuck you. I'm sorry. Oh, he lives in Crazy Bitch Town. Don't worry. Tell us in advance so we can find and follow along with the directions. I just, I understand there are people that are new, and I have no issue. I went to school to be a teacher. I think I have a lot more patience than some of the other people. And, I want to help you. I want people, again, I'm going to come to the table with my knowledge, and I'm going to give that to the table and let other people take from it. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going to bring it to the table and you're going to glom it and then demand that I give you more, I'm like, are you serious right now? And I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I know, and especially if you need a little bit more of attention, if that's the case, then take it to damn PMs. You know what I'm saying? Take it to a PM or ask somebody, be like, hey, can we talk? Can we communicate? Something else. You know what I'm saying? I have no issues with that, and I know some other people, and not everybody's going to be like that either, So when people get really frustrated right off the bat, some people aren't meant for that, and I'm not mad at them for that either. Not every designer has to, walk you through, because again, think of all the other people that are doing things. I'm not the designer, so I'm trying my hardest to give you the hand that I can, and I will go out of my way. Like, I'm going to go through it with Paula. Paula asked a question, and I actually really didn't know the answer. So I went and found the answer, so then I'm going to share the answer, but I don't mind doing the work sometimes, but if you're constantly asking me, to be Google for you and to figure everything out for you and things like that, I'm just going to stop answering you, and I think that's the same for any group and any other person. I don't think it's fair to do that to them. You have to understand your limitations. You have to start small. Like, I always know, and I said it too, and I did it in the beginning too. You want to make a blanket. You want to do something big. That is the dumbest thing to do in the very beginning, because it is very time consuming. It gets very bored very quickly. You don't know what you're doing. So you get those people that are like 25 rows in and they're like, why is it curling? It's like, because you didn't understand what you're doing yet. You know what I'm saying? So, and then it's like, you tell them, it's like, well, it's just going to curl. You can try. And depending on the yarn, you can try and block it. But that may not work, and you'll have to block it every time, because if you wash it, only certain fabrics have memory, and they're like, well, what's the choice? Then you got to pull it out and start over, and you have to add purl stitches in with your knits to off balance it. And like, they're mad at you, and it's like, you asked, like, it's very frustrating, and it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? If you ask, and you're confused, then that's fine. I'm fine with people that are confused. Just explain to me why you're confused. Please don't just say, I'm confused, and, things like that. And Paul, I'm not talking directly to you. So, because I know you, you're like, oh, she's talking to me. And I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking about other people, too. I will help, but you need to give me something. You can't just say, I don't understand what you're saying. What is it that you don't understand what I'm saying? Let's back up. What is it? If I showed you a video, what do you not understand? Where are you getting lost? I can tell you slow down the video. I can show you how to slow down the video. I can show you how to turn the closed captionings on, if that has to be, if there is closed captioning. I have no problem, and I think a lot of other people do not have problems to help people, but they get very frustrated with people that are demanding and, that demand the attention and the help from people and then don't put out. That's why I always give Paula a huge pass, because I do see her doing projects. I see her trying. So I give her that attention at times, and I'll smack her at times. But, I see a lot of other people where it's like, oh, I want to ask them, well, I want to make a hat. Throw me 8,000 hats, and they do nothing. You see nothing from them. And then, 3 days later, they're asking you about a different project. It's like, did you start a hat? Did you do anything? Did you pick something? Everybody went through this trouble to aid you in a question. That's why on the groups, I did it on here and I did it on the other group where it was like, you could only ask one question and you can only get one answer, and that's it. To give people the ability to ask questions and get an answer, and people can go and look and stepstone from there. And I wrote in the thing, if something you see and you want more information, take it somewhere else, and that's fine. But I wanted to try to create a thread where people were just asking a question and getting an answer, and different people were responding and different people were asking, and I get people that want to argue with me. Then don't fucking post, this is my fucking group, or that's fucking Sue's group. I'm the admin. You don't get to dictate, and ADHD. Listen, my husband will tell you I have tons of stuff everywhere and things like that, but I don't have a ton of projects going because I refuse to be that way. But if I see something, I have this has been sitting here for 3 days. It's the flag stitch pattern from Luma Hat. I always print out all of her stuff. I stick it downstairs in a book. I have books that are all labeled, hats, scarves, patterns. I have tons and tons of playlists on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I understand having all of that and seeing something pretty and wanting it. I see lots of stuff that sometimes on the phone, a lot of cute little dolls. There's a woman, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was writing the instructions out and taking a picture of her written instructions, and I took a picture of that and put it in my phone and made a file for it, because it's all that information I can gather, and I've used that to help other people. Somebody will ask me something and be like, oh wait, I saw that somewhere, let me go look through my stuff real quick and see if I can find it and help. Sure, Kathy, you come on now. I already went through your topic. You're a little late to the party. But I get you, Kat. Trust me, I know why you posted it. I know what's going on, and it's very frustrating. And I know it's unfair to you. It's unfair to Deb. I don't mean, she can take all the pot shots in the world at me. It doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form, and she really hasn't bothered, other than to say my name once. But, I don't really give a shit. I've dealt with people like that all the time, and sometimes I feel like the more fucking attention you give it, the worse it is, because to them it's that narcissism that even bad attention is good attention to them, because people still have their name in their mouth. We can do what we can for those purposes and call out the bullshit as it goes around, let people understand that these are stitches that were already created, that it's fine, just do it in a very, sweet and delicate way. Anybody who sees something, if you want to tag me, of all people, I am the queen of saying it without being an asshole. Go figure. I guess my ex-husband gave me two things in life, my son and the ability to talk and piss people off without coming off as an asshole. So started. Well, that's what it is. I have this here, and I have projects now, and I blame all of you guys because I was doing stuff. But, I have this going here, and it's not going to be as big as I hope, so I'm going to transform it into something else. See, that's the other thing about me, too. I won't scrap a project. If I start something, I'm going to finish it. If it's not what it was meant to be, then I will do something else with it. So this was supposed to be a shawl. It is not going to be wide enough. So I'm going to turn it into a collar. I'm going to give it some fringe, and that'll be fine. I'll put a button there, and it'll be good. I think that's part of the learning process. If you go through something, and then you get to a point, and then you're just like, all right, I'm going to give up and pull it out. Just fucking finish it. Unless you can't afford to finish it. I understand, if you buy certain things, and yarn is not cheap, and things like that. But otherwise, take it as a learning curve. Don't just say, all right, fuck it, screw it, whatever. Go through it and figure out, okay, where did I make the mistakes? How do I stop the mistakes from happening? And, go through that motion. I did that. I made a ton of hats. My husband will tell you, my first hat, I was so excited, and it didn't fit. It was too small. I gave it to my daughter. And then the second hat I made was a little bit bigger, but it wasn't right because I was like, all right, well, this loom isn't right, so I'm going to use this loom. But I used a different stitch, so I got the same problem because of the stitches. And I learned by finishing the projects and going through them and saying, okay, I understand where I went wrong and why I went wrong. But I still have these things to show, you know, even if I'm going to show somebody else or just give them away, you know, you can donate them or give them to somebody, you know, whatever. There's nothing that you finish that, no matter how cockeyed or whatever, it is a homemade thing, and I'm sure somebody will appreciate and somebody will love it. You know, like I said, in worst case scenario, donate it. You're not going to donate it to a homeless person and they're going to be like, you fucked up those stitches. And if they do, take a hammer, clock them on the head. You know, this is it. You know, it's like, I'm doing something nice, you don't like it? Fuck you. Okay, don't point out my faults. Thank you very much. Anyway, so the other thing I was asked to do, Paul, are you still here? Just say yes, please, so I know. I'm going to go through it anyway, but I want to know. Yes, swatching. I hate swatching. That's why I just finished a fucking project. Hey, finally was able to join. Well, you can always watch it when it's not live, so. Yes, absolutely. You need to learn how to swatch. That is the best and only way to really learn how something is going to work out for you without doing what I do or getting into something and realizing it's wrong. You know, if you take the time to do the swatch, you literally have to do what? A 2x2 piece or a 4x4 piece? You know, we're not talking, you know, the whole length of the thing. You do it and then you measure it and you know, you understand. And even if, and that's the biggest thing, if you learn how to read your swatches and things like that, it will be easier for you to understand patterns, especially written patterns. So, trial and error is how I learn. There you go. All right. Yeah, you know what? I'm the same way, Christy. If it doesn't work out, then it turns into something else. Like I said, that was going to be something, and I don't remember what I did wrong. I realized in the long run I used a different loom. I used a different oval loom. It wasn't that one. So that's why it's not going to be big enough. But again, I'm just going to turn it into something else. I mean, technically it would be big enough for my daughter, you know, so I could do that too. But, you know, I learn from the mistakes. I try to figure it out as I go along. No, not everybody's like that, and I understand. But if that's the case, like, the whole thing is, and you ask any knitter, like, true knitter, people really make things, who really sell things and stuff like that, swatching is the best way to go. Because all yarns are different, so you can't just apply across the board. It doesn't work that way. You have to figure out, you know, what you're using. You know, the same way with looms, you have to understand the gauging and things like that. You know, people keep asking the same questions, like, well, can I use this loom instead of that loom? And it's like, well, there's going to be a little bit of a difference. You know, and then you'll get those purists where it's like, well, it's going to matter, and then there are other people like where it doesn't matter, and it's like, listen, it does matter. It does matter. Whether you care that it matters is irrelevant, I guess. But it will matter. Like on the KB looms, like the sidings, there's a couple of sidings where people are like, oh, you can use those and it's fine. And it's like, it's really not fine, and overall it will create something different and you will notice it. So, you know, but, you know, it's a trial and error thing. It sucks, you know. I know definitely when somebody puts their heart and soul into something and then it gets messed up and stuff. You know, again, either finish it or take it out and learn from your mistake. So, I mean, it goes 4x4. I see it. You know, and all you have to do is measure it. You know, they sell nifty little rulers that you can get. Otherwise, you just use a ruler and you just do it. So, but, you know, I think more people, like, they see finished projects and they see these people doing these things and they're like, oh my God, it's so amazing and my stuff sucks. Listen, nobody, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Isn't that what they say? Rome wasn't built in a day. So you're not going to just grab your looms, be brand spanking new and get into it. Even seasoned knitters have to learn because the tool is different. So some of the things, like we were talking about, what is it? Slip purl one and slip knit one. When you do it on the needles, it's very different. You know, and we were discussing that. It's like, okay, well, what's, you know, where does it go on the loom? Does it go in front of the peg or does it go behind the peg? You know, and it's basically behind the peg for both because of the way it is. And it's, you know, we were having a discussion about it, and it's most patterns, if they say it's actually a slip purl, not a slip knit. So most of the time you're doing it that way anyway. So, But again, like that's something that you learn. You have to look at, when we had to ask people because it was becoming a conversation. Because on needles, it's very different. Because again, it's just a matter of slipping this back and forth. With the stationary loom pieces, it's not the same because it's holding each stitch. So, but anyway, so I don't know if Paula left, but if she left, she can watch the replay because I know she's usually with the kids. So Paula had asked me how to find out what your yarn weight is if you don't have a tag. So I didn't know the answer. I usually just kind of like mentally gauge. That was just me, which is not the accurate way to do it, and it's not very accurate, period, because it's just not. But I did find out how to do it. Like, people are like, oh, do this, do that. But I found a way that is the most accepted way to do it, and it is to take a yarn. I don't have something handy. Hold on. So, say this yarn did not have its tag, which it does. So, but we'll use it to see if this actually works. Hold on, I have to get a tool. Okay, so according to the method that seems to be, is that you take the yarn, so say it doesn't have a thing, and you wrap it around a pencil. It says not to wrap them too loose but not too tight, so they can't overlap. They have to basically just be like next to each other. I don't know why I did this backwards, I'm so stupid. So you would just do this and wrap it around until you get to an inch. So we're gonna finagle this because I don't have tools. Like I said, I wasn't thinking all the way through today. So say that's about an inch. So you wrap it around an inch. None of them, they're all together. They're all touching. Nothing's overlapping. So if this is right, it says to count how many times you wrapped. So 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this right here, I found this chart online. I will post it on our group if we want. Oh, then I gotta cover the light because that's what it does. So I'm sure it's backwards, but there's a chart here. I'll put it on our group, and it says the weight of yarn, wraps per inch, and then the gauge. So given what I did, this is I said 12. So between 9 and 11 is worsted weight, and 7 to 8 is bulky. So what does this say it is? So this says it's a bulky. So, again, this might be a little bit bigger than an inch. So this is what I need Brendan actually home. So, but this is a way to tell. I mean, again, I don't think that it'll be a tried and true, like absolute every time is going to be correct kind of thing. But I think it's a good way. It's a good way to tell. You know what I'm saying? So, also we all discussed the fact that some yarn weights are not the way they should be anyway. So, but according to this would actually be more of a worsted weight yarn, and I think that that's the case. But the tag says it's a 5. So, but again, I don't have a thing, so it might actually be correct because I don't have the actual inch thing to do. Now I feel stupid. I feel like I should go get one, but that'll take too much time. But there is a way to do it, and if you were, not me and actually had all your tools handy, I'm sure that this, they had pictures and stuff where I got this from. I'll see if I can find the website, and I'll post that too. But yeah, it says wraps per inch, so 35 or more would be a 0, which would be a lace weight. 19 to 22 would be a finger weight. 15 to 18 is a sport weight. 12 to 14 is a DK weight. 9 to 11 is a worsted weight. 7 to 8 is a bulky. And 6 or less is a super bulky. So, isn't it WIP? Did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. But, so yeah, all you need is a pencil. You need to have a ruler, which I didn't have handy. And make sure you have a good ruler. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the the fabric rulers, like the cheap, shitty ones, are not accurate. So, like, if you have a real ruler, I would use a real ruler, or if you have a card ruler that's already set up, you know, that's designed by a company or whatever, some of those cheap ones they are super off. So, this is where I learned about the rad per inch. Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate that. So, I will, I'll post that link, and I'll post where I found, it might be the same thing, like I said, I don't even know where I got this. I just happened to pull it real quick and did it. So, but that's the way, that seems to, like I said, there were many sites, and basically that's all they said is it's the same thing. You wrap and you measure per inch, so how many wraps per inch, and it should be very close. So for all you people who have, you know, when the labels get missing, so I actually have a lot of yarn that has labels missing, because when my kids were little, they would get into my yarn stash and they would like think it was a party and they'd rip all the labels off. So I have a bunch of them with no labels. Ay, ay, ay. So like so, but like I said, other than that, I think I covered everything that everybody asked me to. If there's anything else anybody wants me to discuss, to address, I'm here for a few more minutes, I guess. And I mean, technically, I usually get off at like 9:30, but it's like 9:05 now, so I have a little bit more time if somebody wants me to discuss something, show them something. Don't mind me, I'm going to put this on my nose. So, yes, I'm an essential oil person. I'm not like, you know, the kind of person where essential oils are going to cure cancer, but they do have their purposes, trust me. Oh, a little bit better. So come on, ladies, anything else? Anything I missed? Anything you want me to just bring up? Anything you want me to go back to? Actually, my husband fell asleep with the phone in his hand. What do you mean, Kathy? Like on here or just in general? Like when it cuts it off? So. Okay, Teddy. Yes, essential oils are the bomb. So, I use them for all different things. My husband loves them too. I make like stuff for the clothes to make them smell nice and things like that. So, I'm basically desensitized to peppermint. I have to use like other stuff. I love the smell of peppermint, and I have a spray bottle where I spray myself, but I have to use other stuff for like my headaches, because like I've been using peppermint for like 20 years now. So. In the groups, yes, peppermint is repellent to my husband. Someone posted a question. I'm trying to understand what you're asking me, Kat. Now, when somebody's answer pops up and you have to hit the little see me more thing, that it just doesn't pop up all the way. Love you too, Teddy. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know if I've experienced that, or that maybe I'm just not understanding. I know sometimes when, like when they close the posting, like where you can't respond to comments anymore, sometimes that will actually lock out the conversation. The other times is like if a conversation is going on and you're missing something, it's usually because somebody has you blocked. Again, I may not be understanding you correctly, but if that, you know, sometimes that's the case. Like, I had to unblock in the KB thing because I had people blocked, so I can't see certain things. So I was missing out when other people were like, oh, you gotta go see this. And I'm like, I don't see it. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I have that person blocked. I have to unblock them. That way I can see everything. So, you can't, even if you're like in a group, you know, if you have somebody blocked, you can't see anything. Am I the only one that gets annoyed by seeing? Yeah, it is frustrating that you can't see what they're saying. You know, like in a group setting. It's just the way Facebook works. Like I don't understand that. Like, you know, if you're blocked, you know, you can't see them and they can't see you. It is weird. You know, I think if I have you blocked, it should come up and it should ask me like, hey, do you want to see what they're saying? Because there's a conversation going. You know, blocking them is so they can't talk to me. That's how I look at it, but it's weird. So, bye, Jackie. Love you too. Like in the group setting, I mean, unless admins, you know, kind of make it a point where like you can't. I mean, in every group, it's understood, and even though it's understood, like we still have to deal with people that you can't block an admin. If you block an admin, you have to go. You know, you can't have an admin blocked. It's not allowed. Well, if someone else has you blocked, then you won't be able to see what they're saying either. So, I have only like 3 or 4 people blocked. And like I said, I had to unblock that one person so I can see, you know, in certain settings what's being said, rather than getting it secondhand or be like, I'm missing something, because somebody will say, hey, did you see this? And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? It's because I couldn't see it because I blocked that person. So it doesn't allow me to see it. But it's just the way, I guess it's just the way Facebook is. It is very frustrating when a conversation is going on. But, I mean, the only other thing you could do is ask somebody else to be like, hey, can you fill me in? Can you screenshot what I missed? You know, because somebody else I'm sure can see it. What are the challenges? Is it known yet? No. Teddy's gonna do it. Depending on how many people actually respond to that post. So, excuse me. So, you know, we were discussing in the beginning about people asking for Loom alongs and things like that and just not participating. And it's, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into those things, you know, and timing and anticipation, and then nobody comes in. So, Teddy says she'll do it, but if people aren't going to, you know, actually respond to the post, because she made it very clear, don't like the post, respond to me, you know. So we'll see how it goes. You know, we do have a decent amount of members. We're not as big as some of the other groups, but we do have a decent amount of members. And, you know, we got a lot of people that just sit there and just don't say anything. You know, I don't understand that either. You know, I understand, like, in some groups it's like, oh, you know, I'm here to learn, I'm here to look, you know. But again, we're a community, you don't say anything. You know what I'm saying? You always see the same people over and over and over again discussing things, you know. You know. But like I said earlier, it's like the minute you say, like, hey, we're going to close the group, or hey, we're going to change a rule, or hey, we're going to do this, all of a sudden everybody comes out of the woodwork to bitch. It's like, where have you been the entire time that you were in the group? You know? It's like, if we threw you out, would you even notice? But, c'est la. You know. As I always say, you know what? It's supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be something that we enjoy. You know? And I do feel bad for people that get upset, that get bullied, that get called names and things like that, when they're doing, you know, and they're giving to the group. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing something to the table. You know, Kathy and her 10 stitch and her group with the 10 stitch, and then, you know, all these other groups, and then people want to basically just shit on people. It's like, it's a matter of common courtesy. Most people, again, will not have a problem if you have the common courtesy to talk. You know, yeah, and I don't like lurkers, but, and it is frustrating because it's like, okay, you know, they make it hard for you to even defend yourself, and I understand that, you know, and that's the most frustrating thing that's going on right now, because even when you try to defend yourself, somehow you're still the bad guy, and then, again, and like I said, this has gone on before and things like that. You will always have the camps of people that are diehard fans of this person, and then you'll have the camps of other people. you know, and you really won't win with them. Maybe one or two of them will actually realize that, you know, something's going on and they'll do their own work. But most people want to be spoon-fed. They want to be, you know, placated. And in the case in point of the person that we're talking about, you know, whenever there's something going on, it's like, oh, hey, you want a prize, or hey, you're the special person of the month, or hey, because they, you know, it's that mentality. It's a very narcissistic, very cult-like mentality. When you feel like you're losing the grip of people, you know, you shower them with gifts. It's literally classic cult syndrome. You know, it's me or nothing. You're not allowed to do anything else. You're not allowed to talk to anybody else. Like, you know, not only do you isolate yourself, but you isolate those people as well. You know, and that's what's going on, because those people go into other groups and they're basically getting called out. You know, and that's why, like, I made it very clear that it's like you have to be very positive to them and then giving them slight correction rather than just kind of going at them, because it will immediately just throw them off and they'll run back that way, because it'll just prove this, like, see, everybody hates me, see, you know, you go and do this and they hate me, and it makes them right. It feeds into that negativity. So, you know, like I said, I am frustrated that I still have to talk about it, but I know it's just a constant thing, and I can't go in my inbox and not see the frustration and things like that, you know. And I'm one of the people that will go and search and be like, you know, somebody will be like, hey, doesn't this look familiar? And I'll be like, yes, it does. Give me time and I will fucking dig it up. Elizabeth knows. She'll send me something and I will drive me crazy. You know, I was sick one day and she showed me something. She's like, no, go to sleep, whatever. And I was like, I couldn't. It was bothering me so much. I had to get her an answer. You know, and I'm like, I pulled out my books, I took pictures of stuff. I'm like, it's this is it. I checked it, you know, you know, and it's so stupid to go to these routes and to frustrate myself and for other people to be frustrated and other people to know, you know, it's very hard when you know that somebody's not doing the right thing, and for the community, it's not a good thing, but it's very hard to, how do you not play on the same field as them and not feed into it, but at the same time you have to correct it. Yeah, it really is. You know, it's Mean Girls. It's just fucking Mean Girls at this point. It's, you know, and I didn't tolerate it then, and I'm not going to tolerate it now. And I always say the best way to fight people is with the truth, you know, because you can't, the truth is the truth. If you are legitimately telling the truth, nothing can rock that. There's no getting around it. There's no whatever. We're not talking about your idea of truth. We're talking about flat out, like, hey, this is a stitch. This is it. Look, this is what you wrote. This is the stitch. It's in this book, which was predated fucking 20 years ago. You know, it's very annoying that we have to go through that, you know. And I always said, had it not been in the beginning where you don't shine the light because you're trying to shine it on somebody else to deflect what you're doing, all it does is mirror it back at you. So, bye, Cindy. Have a good night. I think everybody's kind of peacing out anyway. It's almost 9:30. So, it's, I mean, in the conversation, what you can do, again, is there are other people that, I mean, case in point, if you need to, Kathy, just ask me. If you get the missing parts of the conversation, you can just be like, you know, and put out your own information. You know, it's just like, hey, listen, you know, and if you feel like it, it's up to you how you want to go about it. If you want to just be nice about it, just to try to be correcting, or you can just flat out say, well, so-and-so blocked me and I can't see what they're saying, but they're wrong. That's up to you. So, but, you know, and I'm sure, Elizabeth and Debbie and Sue will tell you, I am trying very hard, you know, when it's brought to my attention, like, definitely bring my attention to something and I will go over there and I will say something. You know, I have no issue with that. Again, if you are telling the truth, you know, and things like that, then that has to be said, and it has to, you know, it does have to be stopped, but it has to be stopped in the right way so that we're not the bullies. You know, we're the ones that are defending ourselves. We're not the bullies. Well, not me personally, because like I said, I don't give a shit. You know, I learned the hard way. I believed, and Debbie knows, I had to apologize to Debbie because I believed in the beginning what was being said. The difference is anybody who knows me knows I don't just take shit at face value either. I will go look. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I figured out that it's like, wait a minute. No. So what's going on here? You know? And again, you can't, what you know right then and there when you question somebody and you try to correct them. Again, I was a pastor. You know, correction is part of what we do. You know, when you try to correct somebody and they fight you venomously, you know that there's something going on there. You know what I'm saying? Those who cannot take correction, you know what I'm saying? You have to be able to. You have to be able to take that kind of, you know, and I don't care what kind of person you are. Like, we're having a conversation, you know, people who have anxiety and people who have issues and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that you don't correct them. It doesn't mean you don't steer them in the right direction. It's just how you do it matters. You know what I'm saying? You still have to teach them how to behave if they don't behave the right way. You just have to change how you deliver. You know what I'm saying? So that's really where that comes, you know. So, you know, I know it's very frustrating. I don't want to be slandering you and put your name out there. You just need people to show that it's not true, you know. And again, it's just it's a suckfest, Cat. I know. You know, we've been spending so much time defending Debbie, and then we went through the thing with defending Sue and stuff like that. I didn't even know you were wrapped up into it until recently, you know. But like I said, the only thing we can do is if it's brought to my attention, I will definitely go and make a case. You know, I have no problem backing up people that I know are truthful and you know, and I know this particular instance, what is going on here. You know, you just need people, you know, to do that. You know, as I said, you know, you can't block the world. You know, and that person is slowly but surely isolating themselves from every point of importance. You know, other designers groups, things like that, don't allow that person to be involved and to do those things because they already know whether truth or not. They don't even want the drama, so they don't even want to know whether it's true or not. All they know is it is drama, and they don't want it. So, well, but see. And I know how hard that is. But that's exactly what they want. They want you to give up. They want you to give up because the less other people there is to compete with, the less, you know, there's nobody else to say anything. If you give up and you walk away, and it happened originally, you know, there were designers in the beginning that got screwed over, got their patents stolen and stuff like that, and they just stopped. And the other person just took off, and it was what it was. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it. So, you know, definitely don't give up. You know, Debbie went through the same thing, and rather than giving up, she went full steam ahead. And you know what? It paid off. Yes, it hurts. Yes, the person is still running their mouth. But bottom line is that Debbie is admin in several groups. Debbie has a bigger YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? You have more people that are looking and subscribing and those things. So, well, that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's, you know, it's like buckshot. You know, this person just shoots out buckshot because they have to. They have to deflect from themselves and cause all kinds of issues with other people to make them the you know, I'm the victim, I'm the martyr, I'm the one that's being, you know, bullied, and I'm the one that's being suppressed, and I'm the one that's this. But the truth of the matter is it's completely the opposite. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that everybody in the world is being the bully and everyone else in the world is a liar and you're the only truthful person. You know, it doesn't work that way. So, I have come close to what I do. And nor should you. Nor should you. Because that is the ultimate goal, is to try to make you stop. Because that's your competition. You're just flat out competition. So, you know. And I'll say it, and I'll say it again. It didn't, and none of this had to be, you know, the person could have been still where they were and things like that. Had they just done what they did, give credit where credit was due, and people would still want to be in that orbit and want information from that person and things like that. But, you know, that's not how it is, because that's not the personality. It's a type A narcissistic personality, and there's nothing that we do is going to really stop it. But we can slow it down. Right. if you look at Debbie's numbers and you look at the people that are, that are in Debbie's groups and working on Debbie's stuff, there's people joining all of Debbie's groups every day, If you want, Kat, just message me and we can talk about it. Because, like I said, I'm sort of the backseat of the drama because I'm not the person that's being going after because there's nothing to go after me for other than what I say. And I made it very apparent who I'm talking about, but I don't say the person's name, so whatever. But I will try and help you. I will try to just be there for you and maybe help you navigate and how to deal with it. And if I can do something, some way to help you and, make you feel better, I will. So message me, tell me what's going on, tell me what the Pinterest thing is. I have no, people send me screenshots all the time, So, like I said, I had the person blocked. I'm sure now I'm blocked, so I can't see anything because they realized that I wasn't blocked. Who knows? But can't block everybody. So, we had them all in our group, and stuff like that. So it's like I said, I don't really care, because I'm getting the information too. So it's not like I care. You know what I'm saying? I just, don't pretend to be my friend if you're not. Like if you're in Camp A, whatever. I don't really give a fucking rat's ass. But don't try to be in my camp and kiss my ass and try to be my buddy when you're not. I don't roll that way. Like that's the one thing my husband, if he's still on here, he will tell you, I can put up with just about anything. Lie to me and we have a fucking problem. Lie to me and we have a problem. I can deal with anything. Lie to me and we have a problem. Because once you lie to me, everything else is broken. You have broken everything that I value in a human being by lying to me, which is trusting you. And when I can't trust you, I can't deal with you. So. And I, like I said, I didn't realize that you were part of that until it was brought to my attention recently. So, and I wasn't going to reach out to you like out of nowhere. But if you want to talk to me and if I can help, I will. If I can't, I can't. But I will try. So, yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's just built upon lies. It's just all lies. But we all have to go about it a better way. So, because don't want to give her any more ammunition. Like I said, those that are blindly faithful will constantly be blindly faithful. So there's nothing else to say about that. Bye, Paula. I hope I answered your question about the yarn. If you didn't see it, go back and read it. Kathy posted a link, too, of how to figure out the yarn weight using a pencil and a ruler. So, but on that note, it's almost 9:30. Everybody's kind of peacing out as it is. I will be back next week. Hopefully I'll be back downstairs and not in my bedroom. But I didn't come on last week, so I really wanted to make sure I came on this week and hit up some topics and things like that. So like I said, Kathy, message me if you want. And everybody else, I hope you got some cool information. We talked about the virus. We went through everything, and I'll be back next week. So see you later.